Hi everyone. So non-financial rewards are normally organization can use another type of rewards to helping to motivate people because people are not like machines. You have to always motivate them. As I told you earlier, if you are if you take a work from the machine, you don't need to motivate machines because they are it's like a normally those are nuts and bolts and like a or electronic circuits. So you don't need to motivate them. They will assign the given task. They will perform those machines will be they it performs the thing that they are assigned to. But normally humans are not like that. We need some extra pull or some kind of like a motivation, some kind of like a facilities so in order to motivate them. And in my previous discussion, we talked about what are the financial rewards, and this lesson we're going to talk about the non-financial resources. So normally non-financial rewards are we talk about. Finally, we need that thing for the motivate. Some people are not motivated by money. That's the most important thing. Sometimes you have to provide some kind of additional responsibility, additional care, additional provide kind of like a authority, or give kind of like a training, or give kind of like extra responsibility for the workers in order to motivate. And secondly, some workers are attach more important for non-financial rewards than this. For example, if they have more roles to play, they have some responsibilities in development, they will motivate, they would want to work in the organization. And since more and more people work in teams, individual financial rewards are less adequate and appropriate sometimes because if you give an individual financial reward, because other people they will be demotivated because they will feel that they will not actually valued by the organization. Therefore, because it's team working always, I think it's better to give the bonus and increment for the entire team than giving it for one individual. Therefore, it's better to give a financial, non-financial gains you can give to entire team, right? For entire organization, you can provide the non-financial motivation, such as I told you, like uniforms or something like that, or subsidized meals, or kind of like a transport facility provided by the organization, like the company motor coach or something can provide that. It's non-financial rewards. And some of the motivational theories, such as the Maslow and Herzberg, suggest that non-financial rewards are a valuable means of motivation at the work also. There are mainly three methods of motivation, mainly job rotation. Talk about this here, workers can actually, the job station, the workstation, they can change time to time. So as a result, they will be able to actually work. They have a diversified area they can work. That main reason for introducing job rotation is the border attached to the job, the monotony attached to the job, the repetitive tasks attached to the job you can avoid because of you are always you wanted to actually you are working in a new workstation. Then you have like a challenge, and then organization can have the motivate the people because that especially the boredom and the fatigue can be reduced. So there's a when I like keep like with the example of a supermarket, you can see there are so many works to do. Like sometimes you can see workers are sometimes they're working cashier. So I think most I think close employee for the we can see popular person in the supermarket is a cashiers, but normally there are other jobs as well, like shelf filling, order picking, online orders, trolley collection, customer service checkout, like these kind of things are there. So actually, so you can train in organization as a trainee, A to Z of the organization. You can train them not only in the on cashiers, but on the other sides also, other shelf filling, trolley collection, everything. Right. So that's as a result, uh, workers monotony, and you can see the motivation will be going down, and there will be the training cost will be going. Like as a result, sometimes organization there may be disadvantage as well. Sometimes training cost will arise, and the benefit of specialization also can be lost. So keep in mind when you're studying some point, right? To actually mainly you should know the main definition, advantage and disadvantage. So those are most important when whatever the concept you are learning. Keep in mind you have to know the definition of the concept, the meaning of the concept, plus point and the minus points. That's it. So then that means you can explain it and you can analyze it. So many skills that you have. So job rotation is the definition I can say. It's a change in the job roles, the workstation time to time. Main advantage of this is workers boredom, fatigue, and the monotony works can be reduced. And main disadvantage of this is specialization is lost, and then worker training cost will be increased by the organization. But another advantage you can see the workers' flexibility might increase. Job enrichment concept means a method that introduced by job Frederick Herzberg. you are giving more responsibilities for the workers. It's a kind of a vertical loading. The definition of job enrichment, you can see the adding some kind of a job roles to the worker in addition to the basic job. So as a result of that, adding, giving some more responsibilities to the workers, giving like a more loading of the responsibilities, vertical loading situation, workers will be able to make more sometimes responsibilities and decision making. As a result, the person will be thinking, okay, I'm a very important person to this organization. I'm handling this responsibility, that responsibility. So I'm doing this job role, that job role, like that. They will be able to, they will feel sometimes motivated about themselves. They feel proud about themselves. And as a result, they will work hard for the organization. Financial gains also can be possible because of the enrichment. If you're doing additional job role, why not? Company can offer some kind of additional pay increment also for the new job roles. It is possible because when you're developing such skills like workers, managers, management can actually is another method because you don't need to find another guy or another person to the manage the job role, but you can actually manage the entire workload with the existing workers by giving them more responsibility. For example, if I take a example for the academics, for example, if you're a teacher, so teacher can give another job role, like say become a class teacher. Then you have to manage the classroom, and then sometimes another small responsibility to, let's say, a subject, sometimes coordinator or development, sometimes subject development and enrichment, something like that, or kind of a, let's say, house master, or some kind of like a master in charge of some sports, or master in charge of some society, a master in charge of prefects, master in charge of something like discipline committee, sometimes, so administration responsibility, sometimes head of secondary, something like that. So it will enrich the job life, the work life will be more enriched. As a result of that, people will be able to make their job will be more interesting for them, because it will not got not bitter. It will become more, job will become more interesting because they find out their potential is very high. Therefore, the program will be new recruits and everything. Uh, Represent the group of intentional, like a, mainly you're giving chances for them to excel their potential, the capacity. As a result, job enrichment will be another method that worker will be motivated, not financial, but this is a giving kind of a responsibilities. Because of the responsibility, worker will motivate. So this is the main thing. However, you can see this method sometimes have some negative impact on labor productivity. How? This is a disadvantage part, because if extra work without resources and training, some of them may be displeased. There's a problem. One of the main problem of the job entry is that employees are forced to take extra work without resources and training. So example, today onward, you get the appointment quickly without short with the short notice, like within certain days you can say, okay, you're the right, become the, like, for example, it happens recently in one of the Sri Lanka, like a Sri Lankan cricket team. Uh, Within before 1 week before the some tour, one actually former cricketer was appointed as a main fast ball coach. Right? He denied it. He said, "I can't take this because I need some more time to actually think about this." And the pay, there is no pay increment also. So he disliked. He don't want to take that thing because there is no much actually salary increment. But he taken that decision. Like this, like there's enough resources and training. So if you still like that, suddenly okay, you are the main coach. Tomorrow onwards, take the duties, go to this tour. You can't take that. Like some people are there, they say they are not right, they are not prepared like that. They need some time to think about it, some like an official way of communicating like that. It's really important. So sometimes some workers are there, if you are giving those responsibilities, that sometimes they are not skilled enough. They're not sometimes they are not resourceful in order to, like, they don't have the capacity to do that thing. So as a result of that, however, not the encouragement, sometimes they discourage, they feel sometimes it is too much for them. Sometimes they will leave the organization at the end. This will happen. Okay, so then we talk about this case study of the Tata Steel. Let's go to the last part of this autonomy. Autonomy. I want to talk about this concept today mainly. The autonomy. This happens organization. Look at the definition. Autonomy means giving workers the authority to make choices and decisions about the way they work. Giving workers the authority to make choices and decisions about the way they work. Sometimes it's called the empowerment. empowerment. So empowerment and autonomy sometimes is same, giving workers more control in their working life to make the choices and decisions about the way they work. So mainly autonomy is very important to the motivation, empowerment. This means that they are given the authority to make the more choices and decisions. That means, like, for example, you are giving like more, make you more powerful, giving some kind of freedom for you. Autonomy. It's another method of uh, non-financial motivation. For example, you can see here they're giving uh, the workers and autonomy are set a goal or task by management and then left to decide for themselves the best way to achieve the goal. So, for example, I'm giving you the task. Okay, this is the deadline. This is the project. You have to submit this. You can do it whatever the way you want. You can do it. You can decide the way that this can happen. But this is a deadline. Then I can guide you. I can give you the authority. I can give the freedom for you to do your project. But I have to give you a clear instructions about the goal, the task, right? So task is given by them, but you can decide how to achieve that task. It's up to you. You can do anything, but there's a deadline to submit. The deadline decided by the, like, the organization was like that. They are giving some task for you. Okay, you have to finish this assignment on this date. So the finishing part is up to you. You can do it anytime. You can do it even midnight also. You can wake up and do. You can in the morning. You can come and work and do. In the daytime you can do, night time no problem. It's flexible working. You can do it in any way you want, or home working or whatever. I need the completion of the assignment. Right? You can decide the way you are doing is, that's up to you. That's a autonomy. They're giving the workers the power to that's, for example, software companies, right? So especially the IT sector, we can see the autonomy is really important for them to make their decisions, because they are the one who coding, they are the one who actually making this system. So they should give that authority. And also it might improve the workers' self-confidence, because you work for yourself with the control. You have the control of your working life. Self-confidence, the way of recognizing the achievement, right? And this should help to motivate workers, and business will benefit from this practice because productivity will be higher, and there may be opportunities to reduce the number of managers and supervisors, right? As a result, there may be opportunities are there to reduce the number of managers and supervisors as well. And this is because once workers are given autonomy, the need for managers and supervisors is reduced. So because you don't need to have another supervisor to actually follow up, because the follow up part done by the same worker, because it's, he's responsible for everything. If you not achieve the thing, you have to do somehow. So it's actually the good for the organization, because you don't need to appoint another manager, another supervisor to go behind and check them and follow up. So that is the old school method. So right now, for example, look at this system, right? For example, in a normal school, for example, remember, like when you're doing classes and everything, always there is a supervisor and there are committees and everything. But normally now what happens is up to you. So you have to decide whether I'm taking this lesson or not. You have to decide whether I'm listening to this lesson or not, right? Because it's up to you. I think full autonomy is there for you, right? Whether you are participating in this lesson or not. You are taking, like, that autonomy is like a freedom. It's given for you, but don't misuse it. That's the thing. Don't misuse your freedom. So you have to it's a kind of a method that you can easily, right, get the all the power into your life, and you can control. So no need to so we are not anymore controllers of your life. You are the controller of your life. You can decide what is the way that I'm going to study this part, I'm going to learn this part or not, I'm going to improve my life or not. It's up to you to decide. So autonomy is like that. So they're given the power by the organization for you. So it's your responsibility to become a good person. So then, as a result, workers' autonomy will be, I think, it's a very good method. Need the workers and managers, supervisors reduce because workers are trusted. However, some workers may respond negatively of being given autonomy. Some workers, they can't resist that thing because they always want some supervision behind them. Some people, they don't know how to do like a self works, and because they always used to actually get the orders from other people, or sometimes they don't have enough education for that, especially if they do not receive extra pay. They may think that this is just a way of laying off managers and squeezing more out of workers. Also, some workers may be may not be confident on taking more responsibility. That's a disadvantage. Two disadvantages mentioned there in autonomy. What's the first disadvantage? They are thinking that the manager is a method of like a squeezing managers out of the work. Like, you know, they're laying off managers and squeezing more out of work. And uh, sometimes another method is actually some workers may not be confident of taking more responsibility. They are not confident on taking more responsibility. All right. So if it is a large business or a small business, it is important motivation. You can see at the summary. It could be argued that many of the owners of small business are not aware of the motivational theories. Right? Small business, they don't know anymore. If you right, because these theories are normally talking in the special universities and the other HR courses. So they don't know any about this theory. Is there a theory for motivation? They don't know. They don't have any clue. But however, the owners may know from experience that the certain incentives, such as giving them like more responsibility, can motivate people. In large businesses, where specialist human resource managers are employed, the motivational theories are more likely to be well understood. So, consequently, a great deal of thought may be given to the various methods which are used to motivate workers in the job roles specific in that organization. Okay, I would like to go with some kind of a question and answering session. So you can answer this question through you can ask this question through verbally, or you can answer this question through chat line. So I would like to you can ask through chat line mainly. So one by one. Question number one. So we can send the answers. You can say question number one, A, B, C, D options. Which of the following is a disadvantage of job rotation? Disadvantage of job rotation. So far, I have got one response from you. Employees may get bored. Training costs are likely to be higher. Managers' job will be at risk. Work timetables will be more difficult to prepare. Work time. Okay. So the answer is given by you. So question number one, answer B. Yeah, answer is given by that student is correct. Okay. Answer is B. Training cost will be likely to be higher because job rotation, you have to teach them how to do every task, not only one function. If there are 10 departments, you have to tell them how to do all that 10 department works because you have to rotate between all that 10 departments in the organization. Therefore, training cost will be high definitely. Okay. Question number two. Question number two, you also can answer. A payment in addition to the basic wage for reaching targets or in recognition for service is called. Payment in addition to the basic wage for reaching a targets or in recognition for service is called salary, commission, bonus, piece rate. Yeah, I got responses, 5 responses from student. Yes. 3 of you correct. The answer is C, right? Three students get the correct answer. C, the bonus is the thing. The bonus is an additional payment in addition to the basic wage for reaching targets or recognition of service. Sometimes loyalty bonus and everything. It's a bonus, another commission. So some students actually make the answer commission, because commission is actually given for the workers in addition to the wage, but that based on the salary, based on the amount of revenue they have contributed to the organization. Okay, let's go to question number 3. An example of non-financial reward used to help motivate worker is non-financial reward, job enrichment, job analysis, job description, job specification. Okay. What is a non-financial reward? We talk about mainly 3 non-financial rewards: job enrichment, job rotation, and autonomy. So here answer is very visible. Yes, 2 students gave the correct answer. A is the correct answer. Question number 3, part A, correct. Very good, excellent. Huh? Keep that. So part 4, question number 4. A factory worker at an assembly plant get 100 rupees per hour for a 35-hour week and 150 per hour for overtime. So it's clear, no? Normal rate 100 rupees. Overtime rate 150 rupees. So a worker is working 50-hour week would be how much would be the receive? Would receive how much? So to multiply, it's a 50-hour week means 35-hour normal. 35 to 50, they have another 15 extra hours, that is overtime hours. So we have to multiply 35 times 100 and 150 times 15. So 35 times 100 and 15 times 150. So 35 times 100 is 3,500, right? And 15 times 150 is 2,250. 2,250 plus 3,500 is answer. Is yeah, once you get the correct answer is C, 5,750. 5,750. You can see like there can be a calculation questions like this. The calculation in Excel papers, there are so many, like there are two calculation questions are coming. It can be a financial thing or this kind of like HR related, like pay calculation, something problems can become. So therefore, you must be able to know how to calculate the basic wage and overtime rate and everything. Okay. Let's go to the so mainly today actually I discuss about mainly about the job enrichment, job enlargement, job rotation, everything, right? So and at the end we talk about the large business, small business, and everything. So the main objective of the today's session actually to find out the normally what are the non-financial methods of motivation. Actually, we talk about mainly in your syllabus, we talk about the job rotation, job enrichment, and the autonomy. But there are other methods also, for example, like a non-financial rewards, like job enlargement. The enlargement part we are not talking here. Job enlargement means even like a similar kind of a responsibilities for the workers. Like we are doing a one, like a let's say departments, you are giving another kind of same kind of like a job. For example, let's say a telephone operator, you are giving another job. For example, and same kind of a thing. Let's say telephone operator plus secretary job. Then same kind of a job. Like another thing. For example, if you are a subject teacher for let's say a year 13, so giving another class of year 13, like a job enlargement of the job, giving more resources for you to handle, and that's a horizontal loading. Job enrichment is a vertical type of loading. So and then we talk about the MCQ part also in our discussion. So MCQ part we talk about that mainly what are the main the starter case study which finished in my previous session. In my next session, I'm happy to discuss about this chapter review part, the Santiago, this case study, and then so mainly these case studies are really important because from financial motivation, non-financial motivation, there are 9-mark questions are there in the Excel. So it mainly talk about the like this kind of define the term bonus, how bonus will be helped, what are the benefits of giving bonus, describe the how giving workers more autonomy might motivate workers at the Santiago, discuss two benefits of Santiago to giving staff fringe benefits, and assess whether the use of non-financial method of motivation, assess question 12 mark. Assessment, non-financial method of motivation, effective for Santiago, make a clear judgment in your evaluation. In a 12-mark question, the 12-mark structure I would like to explain again. When you're writing a 12-mark evaluate question, you need to have like a mainly 4 components in your answer, in your essay. What are the 4 components in your answer? You must have to write what is the definition of non-financial reward, and then you have to write 2 advantages of non-financial, the 2 reasons why non-financial is important, and then 2 disadvantages of non-financial things, and then the conclusion. So when you're writing that answer, you can write what is non-financial rewards, and then give what are the 2 reasons why non-financial rewards are important. Here there are 4 reasons, and then give the disadvantage of non-financial reward. For example, you can give the talk this job rotation disadvantage, job enrichment disadvantage are there. Job rotation disadvantage is this method actually need more training cost, right? Job enrichment most disadvantage is sometimes this will be not suitable because some some workers, they are not given enough resources and training to carry out the job roles. So this is not important. Sometimes this is very difficult. They are giving employees are forced to take some extra responsibility without resources. Like that. So the autonomy also sometimes like that. Even autonomy case also, you're given the freedom for the workers to do the activities. But you can find out at the end the autonomy part. Even autonomy also have their own limitations. What's autonomy? They do not receive extra pay for these things. And sometimes the staff might think in autonomy is a way of actually managing staff, laying off managers and squeezing more out of the workers. And some workers may not be confident enough to taking more responsibility. These things are there. So when you're writing that kind of 12 marker, should write what is a non-financial benefits, what are the two advantages or two reasons for giving non-financial, and two limitation of these things: job enrichment limitation, job rotation limitation, autonomy limitation, and then your conclusion, evaluation, your judgment. Overall, you can say non-financial is good because of these things. However, these are the bad things, but you can give some solution if you can. For example, while giving not a non-financial, we can give kind of financial benefit as well. So if you're giving both financial and non-financial, like a combination of these things, you can motivate the workers like that. You have to conclude the answer like that, right? So, so I think that's it's for the today's lesson. Then see you again on my next session regarding the more past questions and more chapter review questions of the financial non-financial motivation. Then see you then. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, sir.